Round two. Let's focus. Get hype.
Yes.
Let's get fucking going.
HPV.
The fucking Batman.
We watch bullshit.
Woo!
Okay, right.
Motherfucking Batman.
Na. Nope, wrong one.
Yeah. Oh, way wrong one.
Do you remember
Those ones were fun.
Do you remember the theme song for this one?
No.
Of course not. Absolutely forgettable. No dun 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 dun. There's nothing, no hooks.
Yeah, because it wasn't Star Wars, bro. That's why the Imperial March was not in this film.
You know, I bring that up as, like, Flash.
Ah!
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly what that is. You know what it relates to.
So,
this movie has nothing like that. That's the first fundamental point I'm going to throw out there.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. First impressions. Besides that,
I gave you my first impression.
Did you like it?
I have to say that I have seen from the '89 Batman through to the fucking Zack Snyder abominations.
Oof.
Up to, the Nolan movies, I've seen all of those Batman movies. The Zack Snyder ones, I saw one on a plane only because the person next to me had it on, so it didn't even have the sound on it. Everything else has been through in-depth reviews online from other people critiquing the movies, and I'll tell you, thank God, because I hate what Zack Snyder did to them. I don't care. Say what you want. I don't give a fuck. He told people who, were in favor of the more traditional Superman and Batman to fuck off and grow up and all of this stuff. So, you know what? No, fuck you. So, Zack's not getting any of my money. All right. So that explains the cinematic gap before going to this Robert Pattinson one, because after what Zack did, I was really leery about this one. If we weren't doing this podcast, I still wouldn't have gone and seen it, right?
Right.
But because we're on a mission and I love you, we went to this fucking movie, and I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised because it's kind of loosely based off of some source material that Frank Miller had written, and Frank Miller is responsible for a lot of this dark adaptation stuff that has influenced Batman and Superman movies since before Nolan, right? Literally back to the Tim Burton movies, right? So, to say this guy influenced the cinematic style of contemporary Batman is just, it's not a point you can argue, So this particular interpretation had a lot of elements about Batman that I needed to see. Like, he doesn't intentionally kill people,
I'm going to disagree with you heavily.
He actually tells Cap. Oh, by the way, spoilers, everybody. Fuck it. You should. If you don't want to hear spoilers, then come back to this after you've seen the movie. But he stops Catwoman from shooting this guy, right? And says, "No guns. That's not the way. We don't do it like that. You don't want to go down with him," right? That whole sort of thing. And it's like, okay, that at least acknowledges the core Batman philosophy that every other fucking filmmaker, and Zack Snyder particularly doubling down on, with Batman doesn't kill. He doesn't kill. And every other filmmaker's been like, nah, he'll let people die. Nah, he'll kill people. Nah, fuck that, man. You grow up. Batman's a killer, right? And it's like, man,
there is no way that dude is not dead after he injected himself with trucker speed and beat his skull into the pavement.
Well, you notice with that shot that they never took the dude's...
That is a
off.
thing that happens in this movie. Batman gets fucking shot in the chest.
Oh, dude, that was such a great scene. Double barrel
Like-
shotgun,
like
point
it-
blank range.
Like an asshole, he gets shot right in the chest. And to bring himself back, he injects himself with trucker speed and beats the living Christ out of the dude.
Well, how dare he for shooting at point... No, moreover, how dare he threaten Catwoman and almost kill Catwoman.
Brad, this movie's stupid.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I could handle this movie if it was stupid and fun. There is nothing fun about this movie. It's all deep, dark, depressing shit that's not executed or filmed particularly well, and it's boring because of that. The action is shot terribly.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah.
So when things do happen, I don't care. Cool. Batman's just barroom brawling these dudes to the fucking ground. He doesn't use finesse. He doesn't use cool ninja moves or anything. He just like straight up UFC barroom fucking brawls these guys to the ground wearing his power armor.
Fucking A-right, he does.
It's man.
Well, let me put it this way, dude. Okay. So each iteration of Batman has had a particular sort of fighting style. Like Michael Keaton's was very limited by the costume he had to wear. So they did what they could with him because he literally had blinders on his eyes, you know. And he couldn't turn his head. So that was something that they had to, in the Schumacher iteration, sort of switch around so that he could move his head around. And then when you get to the Chris Nolan stuff, it's more tactical. And so you see these sort of Krav Maga applications and things like that. All fine and good. With this one, at the open of the movie, in one of his narrations, he talks about how he's been doing it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, that kind of, you're still kind of new to the game, you know? And you're still, like, okay, so here's one of the things that I thought was really positive about the story of the movie that, once again, I didn't really see in these other Batman iterations, right? Is this moment where he sort of, and again, in his narrative, he dumbs it down for everybody so we get the point, right?
Yeah.
But he literally is like, hey, you know, I suddenly recognized that there was more than just instilling fear in bad guys, that I actually could, you know, sort of give people something to encourage them to have hope, you know, and maybe do things for themselves knowing that things can be done, right? So there's this more positive message in there that is nowhere in any of the Zack Snyder stuff. And I think it's very, if it's in the Nolan stuff, it's very fleeting and far between. And it's those moments where, okay, you could maybe say it was getting a little bit preachy, but in the context of the overall movie, it's not like, you know, at the end of fucking the Heath Ledger and the Two-Face one, where Batman's sitting there for like 5 minutes just preaching about lies and how he's going to be responsible and claim the murder, which, you know, is nothing Batman would have done. It's all stuff that's just like, okay, so anyway. So...
Okay, if you want to talk about the message of this movie, it's just, he didn't do anything. What did he actually accomplish? The city's still a fucking mess. It's worse than when he began. He acknowledges that.
Yeah.
And he starts to acknowledge that he's the problem at the end, but he's not going to stop. He says he needs to carry on, even though he realizes that none of this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him.
Well, see, now, this is interesting, too, because this is why I say dropping the storyline about the accounting was a big mistake. Because right there in that moment, he could say, look, part of the reason this power vacuum exists is because all of this money has been grifted from the city. So we're going to go to this renewal fund and have it do what it was supposed to do. And because I'm fucking Bruce Wayne as well as Batman, I'll make sure there's no goddamn corruption in this thing. And now suddenly we see the other aspect of Batman, which is Bruce Wayne using his money to fund the city. And I mean, dude, it was such a simple thing, and they never fucking came back to it. You know? I don't understand the decision-making process that's like, you know what, we're going to introduce a plot point. We're actually going to revisit it with this whole renewal fund, and your dad's a bad, corrupt person and all of this stuff. And oh, by the way, fuck it, you just beat the shit out of everybody. That's the end of the movie. What?
Yeah.
You know, although Zoe Kravitz looks great. I love the way she looked. I like her Selena Kyle. I did.
All right. So
sue me. I don't care. I thought she was good.
she was fine. I don't know why she was in it, I guess. I mean, the very first thing they do is have her dress up like a prostitute, and he gets mad when she doesn't do what he says. Because he wants her to go follow the DA, and she decides to follow somebody else because, it's the waitress, because she knows about her dead friend.
Right, and
Batman immediately gets...
That was her mission.
Yeah, and Batman immediately gets livid. What I'm saying is that, like, I don't need... Like, Bruce Wayne is already usually kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't need him to be extra shitty. And that's what really bothered me about this film, is that's part of the dichotomy of Bruce Wayne, is that he's the playboy billionaire about town, and that, you know, some part of his life is sort of fanciful and fun. But really, in this one, he's just some schlub who's a fucking millionaire and doesn't want to deal with the accountants or the lawyers or anybody to keep this philanthropy going, and everybody kind of fucking hates him even more.
Yeah, you know, now that you're saying that, it occurs to me, we don't really get a lot of Bruce Wayne at all in this. And we certainly don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne and Alfred and what that dynamic is.
Exactly.
I mean, Alfred gets blown up. He comes
right in the face.
Yeah. And I love his makeup job in the hospital with the little cut marks from the glass, and it's like half his face would have been blown off. Come on, Jesus Christ!
That thing blew up directly into his face.
Yeah, Whatever might have been left on his face would have been like third-degree.
There would have just been charred skeletal remains of Alfred laying in that room.
Yeah, it would have been awful. But so Alfred comes out of his coma. And what's the first thing Bruce says? You lied to me. It's not like, oh, thank God you're okay. I mean, they have a nice holding hand moment at the end of it.
I think that's where I started to, because I fell asleep during this movie. I think I started falling asleep around there. Because that's one of the last things that I remember.
Well, you know, I think you probably could have, with all of this back and forth of, oh, it was Moretti. No, it was Falcone. It was, you know, whichever the fuck Italian crime lord. Everybody's going back and forth, setting up everybody like 3 or 4 times, and so Bruce has to sort out what the truth is, and it's like, you know what, we're wasting a lot of fucking time on
Why was there so much political intrigue?
Yeah. I mean, I understand, okay, Bruce's dad was, you know, basically the executor of the slush fund that was this whole renewal thing, and it got corrupted somehow. He didn't know about it. And then cops came in, busted everybody, and said, hey, you know what, since everything's in place, let's just keep making fucking money. Okay, yeah, good, all right.
And then he got involved with Falcone.
Yeah, and so then it's, you know, so-and-so, and then this guy, and then back and forth with the, oh, no, he never would have done that. Oh, but you didn't know this, so he never would have done that. And it's like, for fuck's sake, man, this whole back and forth nonsense is really unnecessary.
Yeah, that's why this movie was 3 hours long.
3 fucking hours.
I will say this could have been a pretty bitchin', like, 110 minutes.
Yeah.
Just under 2 hours. Hour 45 would have been perfect.
Which is all I want. Can we go back to a superhero movie that's about 90 minutes, but not 2 hours, 110 minutes? Can we go back to that formula? Does every fucking superhero movie have to be an epic, 3 hours for a superhero movie? I just want to see, here's the problem. Here's some good kick-ass effects. Here's, our hero's journey, whatever it is for this particular movie. And hey, there's a happy ending at the end, because that's what I want out of my entertainment. You know what I mean?
You know what I really, really could have used in this movie?
Everybody dying.
More of the Riddler. Just for the Riddler to be an actual character and not just somebody that pops up to be... He's just kind of an agent of chaos. His story is never even really, resolved. He gets kind of arrested, and then there's 15, 20 minutes left of the movie.
Well, you know how we were talking about...
The climax does not involve the Riddler directly at all. It's a bunch of randos that, are his followers.
But it involves him because his plan was that he would get Batman to recognize that he was insane so they could sit in Arkham together and watch on TV as the Riddler's plan, which was all these guys with guns showing up, which apparently was supposed to be 500 guys and turned out to be 15, 20, something like that.
Can we talk about that for a minute and how it is kind of in poor taste to do that?
Incredibly poor taste. Yes.
Because, I
agree 100%. This is
the climax of this film is a mass shooting by a maniac's followers, an internet maniac.
Yes, an internet maniac who sets up a secret chat group, where they all teach themselves about guns and the lies of these politicians and why they should all die, and they encourage each other to show up wearing these same Riddler fucking masks.
And he's finally given the green light to use violence. And
yes, because now they've got their purpose, and Batman's on board because Riddler in his imagination thinks that somehow they're having some sort of discourse in these murders. And let me put it this way. Not only was that an incredibly poor taste, it also, before it got to that point, mirrored in many ways what Nolan was doing with Joker, with the whole video messages and sending riddles and, half things that were making Batman question, who are these people and what is he doing in his life, and should he really be Batman? All that bullshit was just mirrored with this Riddler story. So I agree with you. We never really got anything, at least with the Nolan stuff. You had deliberate inconsistencies, like Joker lying about how he got his scars.
Yes.
That make you go, okay, so this guy definitely is a fucking liar and has some sort of warped history, but we still don't know exactly what that is. And it could be any of these.
And again, I've only seen the one Nolan film, and it took me 10 years to get all the way through Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, dude.
But I will say, in defense of that, as opposed to this film, at least we got to interact with the villains.
Yes.
Batman is the most boring part of every single Batman movie. The villains are what you want to see. As much as I hate that that's the way that it is,
I agree.
The villains are the interesting part. Mm-hmm. And with this, we don't get to interact with the villain really at all, except for through his weird video messages and a few scenes of him committing murder.
In the loony bin at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, because even the scenes of committing murder, he's basically stoic in the room until he attacks the individual. So it's like, okay, well, that's creepy as fuck.
And you had Paul Dano. Paul Dano's a fucking weird looking dude. And when he was actually on screen, he was great. I enjoyed him being a fucking maniac.
He was creepy as fuck, that guy. The one thing that I really was sad about was that we only saw him in jail. Because I was like, man, look at how they're shooting him with his glasses and all of that stuff. Why not put him, like in that bowler hat that they have him in some of the iterations where we see him? Why don't we see him in something that kind of resembles... instead of being in his murder outfit exclusively,
Yeah.
why don't we see him, like, moving through some sort of, like Batman was doing on location, where we see him with his hoodie and his biker mask and getting around. Okay, cool. Why couldn't Riddler be doing the same fucking thing, only we see him as some sort of recognizable, oh, that's the Riddler, that's the dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Could have done that. No, didn't get any of that. Didn't really get anything except a long speech at the end about orphanages.
And the other bad guy is just like a mobster who actually...
Hey, the Italian stereotype. It's right there. You don't have to do anything with it. Come on.
And he wasn't like... it might be the point of obviously having him, but like his motivations weren't always wrong. Like,
No.
he was absolutely right in a few of his motivations for his actions.
Look, let's make this fundamentally clear about Batman, which is, been pointed out in recent lore and all of that. But Batman is a psychopath motivated to inflict violence on individuals, who is enabled by a fortune and one parental figure who basically is guiding him to be encouraged to seek justice and, have this
being
sort of
fully enabled by Alfred.
having this construct of I am, I am vengeance. I am someone who's like a warrior for the people, and I scare bad guys and all of that stuff. This guy is a fucking psychopath.
Uh-huh.
So the idea that he has some sort of moral compass of saying, I don't use guns and I don't kill people, is the only restraint that makes him slightly passable as a hero. But in context of, and we see it in this movie, he shows up at a crime scene. Cops are like, why aren't we arresting this guy?
Yeah.
And it's the dude who outranks them saying, let it go.
Yeah, I believe at one point, if not a few, police say to Batman, hey, you mind not touching shit at this crime scene?
Yeah, exactly. And you've got Gordon saying, oh, he's wearing gloves. So
Yeah,
and people are just like, what the fuck? I mean, I liked moments like that because, at least now it kind of adds to the what you might expect a real reaction would be.
Yeah.
There's 10 cops here, and the only reason he doesn't have cuffs on him is because the person in charge of the location is giving him a pass. That's interesting as fuck, dude. I was glad to see that.
And if you want to talk about why Gotham's such a fucking hellhole, okay, not only do you have this masked Avenger running around essentially murdering, if you beat somebody like that, even if they're not dead, they're going to be brain damaged or crippled for life. So you've got this maniac running around, and every beat cop is told that, oh no, he's fine, he's with us. What do you think those beat cops are inferring from that? I can do whatever the fuck I want. I am the actual law. Yeah, you wonder why Gotham's such a shithole? Because the police there are definitely a gang.
Well, yeah, and moreover, the police have been given extra license because they don't have to deliver the beatings because they know there's a vigilante out there who will do it for them. They just have to point them in the right direction. You know what I mean? So it's like extra nefarious, But
the one thing that I did kind of like about this movie is, Batman gets the shit kicked out of him a couple times.
I like the fight scenes for that. I mean, I thought there was some...
I thought they were filmed poorly, but...
Well, I thought there was more authenticity, like when the guns went off, like that shotgun blast that knocked him off the rail was fucking great. It was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's give it up for their Batman armor that actually looked fairly authentic, I thought,
Do you remember when they just shot him right in the side of his big stupid head? Because he was just standing up out in the wide open, and the gangsters rolled up and shot at him and Catwoman?
Yeah.
And they just shot him right in the side of the dome? Or in that scene where he emerged from the shadows and they just shot him straight in the chest with a machine gun. But he's fine because he has armor plating. That's not what I find interesting about Batman. Batman has almost a stealth element, the Batmans that I like anyway. Mm-hmm. Yet he might come crashing in, but he jumps away from the bullets in fanciful ways. He uses gadgets in fanciful ways. He doesn't just run in with his power armor on and just rear back a haymaker and slug some teenager.
Well, now I absolutely agree with you. I do.
That's why this wasn't interesting.
That being said, okay, the one Batman who was like the brute force fighter interpretation that I liked, believe it or not, was Ben Affleck. For everything that I say about Zack Snyder's bullshit.
I will agree with you. That fits that Batman because Ben Affleck's 50 years old and it's a Batman who's just, his knees are worn out. He can't go sliding into wherever.
So he's
going to come in and just brawl you to the ground.
Yeah, and I bought the way they did the fight scenes up until, he's like clearing a room with a gun and that sort of stuff. I'm just like, fuck off. But, the scenes where he's like legit coming into a room and using his fighting skills and everything, I thought those were done well. Now, with this one, again, it's not so much that I thought that the combat was filmed so brilliantly, right? But it was moreover that I had a number of combat sequences that was probably more combat sequences in a Batman movie than I've seen in a lot of other fucking Batman movies. Like Tim Burton, the first one really pissed me off because there was like the museum scene and then the thing at the end, and other than that, you don't really see Batman doing much other than, like flying or driving or something like that. And it's like, at least in this one, he mixed it up. He actually, they do the long walk down the hallway. Oh, what's this coming out of the hallway? It's such a cheap shot to try and build tension. That's what it is, because everybody knows it's fucking Batman. So he comes out, right? But he looks at like, 10 guys in clown face, and he just stands there like, yeah, okay, we're gonna fight. Right?
Oh, are you talking about the opening scene where they're trying to get the kid to knock out the dude that they grabbed? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bad guys, who the fuck are you supposed to be? You know who Batman
who the fuck Batman is. If you're wearing a clown face on your fucking gang, your whole gang is wearing different clown faces, and they show at the end that the Joker is in fucking Arkham, you don't know who fuck you.
Yeah, and the oldest one in that group was 22?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, none of those dudes are gonna nut up and fight the Batman.
Exactly. But, okay, so they're like, okay, there's like 10 or 12 of us, let's get them. First 4 or 5 guys just get mauled.
Oh, and then Batman grabs the first dude and like hockey punches him into the fucking ground.
Yeah, and then
it's pretty jarring.
Well, dude, compare that to what you were talking about earlier with the guy that he leaps on wearing the Riddler mask, where he pounds that guy in the face like 20 times. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a brutal murder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he is giving these guys severe head injuries. Like, they're probably going to be paralyzed, probably never going to be able to form a sentence again.
Nope.
That kind of stuff. But hey, fuck it. They were bad guys. So,
Yeah, and that's what...
And Bruce didn't kill him.
And that's what bothers me is when you make a movie that's trying to have such a 19, because I'm sure that's when it was made, such a 2019 perspective on the world and being socially aware, and then to make a Batman around that is stupid. Well, make it about a fucking heist or shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I actually, I was glad that a lot of that stuff was not more pervasive.
It makes the ending motivation where not motivation but action where the Riddler blows up all the dams
Yeah.
Or
he blows up the seawall.
yeah, the seawall, and Gotham is flooding.
Yeah.
That would be a correct motivation for the Joker, because the Joker is a character who wants to watch the world burn and die.
Correct.
Now, the Riddler...
Yeah, why would the Riddler become a mass murderer? Okay, well,
the twist they took with the Riddler really confounds me.
yes, because Riddler, his whole thing is sending Batman off on a wild goose chase while he goes and, like, steals the diamond or, you know, robs the $500,000 out of the safe that's in the art museum or whatever. Because that's really... And there's some sort of connection in the riddle that tips Batman off to what the crime is that the Riddler is doing, because that's part of his sort of psychotic game that he likes to play. In other words, he is not just a callous mass murderer. There's no reason for him to be, and I think that the Riddler we all know and love from the past would find that kind of thinking abhorrent, because there's nothing to gain from it.
No.
For him.
Yeah,
You know? I mean, the guy is a fucking robber. That's all he is he just wants to steal and live in comfort land. That's what he does. And I'm speaking in the most general, fundamental sense here. You know what I mean? Of course, they've had all sorts of back and forth. But the fundamental thing is, hey, here's a clue that I am going to begin fucking with you, and you now have to go on this wild goose chase because somebody's going to die. And while you're saving their life, guess what? You know, this is what this was really all about.
I think this movie was severely hurt by its PG-13 rating. I think had they been able to go a little further into, I guess, 7 territory, because they tried to do 7.
Oh, I was going to say that earlier.
They tried to do 7.
Within the first 15 minutes, what did we have?
The Riddler is just John Doe, except for, with the exception, where John Doe was a religious zealot, the Riddler is now, what do I want to say, like social justice warrior, but gone to the extreme.
In a sense, because his fundamental motivation as revealed is that he was an orphan just like Bruce Wayne was, but he actually grew up in a real orphanage and was intensely jealous that poor Bruce Wayne, billionaire boy, was labeled an orphan and able to live in richness and comfort and be relatively fine. Which, okay, I can get that to a certain extent as a motivation.
And then turn his back on the poor with the foundation that his father had set up, I believe was the main motivation, that he had stopped paying for all of these social programs, and that's what really tipped the Riddler off the deep end. Is how I
go one further with that, because yes, all of that is true, but this organization was also corrupt.
Yes.
So the money was not going where it was supposed to go to genuinely help people. It was going to line people's pockets, and Bruce inherits this legacy. So by not caring at all about what this legacy is from the Wayne family side of it, he says in the movie, what I'm doing now is my legacy, meaning the whole Batman thing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's fine and good, but the cost is...
committing crimes while pretending that you're not. That's your legacy, just like your dad.
Yeah, only you're much more violent and brutal about it.
Yes.
Which, I want to circle back to that in a second, but to finish the thought, so this once again is why dropping the accountant storyline was a big mistake, because that's how you solve the philanthropy problem.
Yeah, that's how
Bruce...
That's how you re-endear that character to us, to indicate that what he's doing is right and that he's changed and that he has an arc.
Right. Now, okay, so...
Yeah, you leaned over, like, right at the end of the... You're like, why are they doing this? Why? All they had to do was switch this to this, and it would have been... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, now, we've been doing comparisons to the Batman movies. Here's a comparison I want to ask you about, which is, you and I had the joy of watching the Joker together.
We sure did.
Now, imagine Gotham as envisioned in the Joker movie versus Gotham in this movie, right? And the one thing I'll point out is the fucking Joker movie, which for both of us was a bit of a chore to get through.
Oh, man.
At the open.
I don't remember most of that movie because
Do you remember the open?
like, as soon as I didn't have to watch it anymore, it was like flushing a toilet. It was like, nope, don't need to keep any of that.
Well, okay, so do you remember the open of the Joker movie where there's a bunch of radio, we're listening to the radio as we're going over the city, and the city's hot, and, you know, everybody's, like, dressed down, and we're obviously in a lower economic part of New York and all of this stuff, and on the radio it's like, oh man, garbage strike, and all the garbage.
Oh, yes, society's breaking down.
Yeah, and there's garbage everywhere, and there's garbage, and everybody's talking about the garbage, right?
Mm-hmm.
This movie didn't have that, but it still got the point across that this was not a comfortable environment to be living in. You know?
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, when people question, why didn't you like the Joker movie? I'd say, okay, now we've got a reasonable comparison in terms of something that's trying to present a more grounded Batman kind of a city. That's still fanciful, I guess, in a way. But reimagined in a way that kind of makes a bit more sense, you know? So, anyway, I thought that if you compare those two movies, this one kind of creates a more realistic environment in terms of the threats that it presents.
Yeah, I did like this a lot better than Joker. Leaps and bounds better than Joker. But, I don't know, and again,
Joker
I thought...
wasn't 3 hours. That's the only thing I'll say to Joker's face.
Yeah,
it wasn't 3 fucking hours.
Man, if one of your villains is going to be... Oh, we haven't even brought up that the Penguin's in this, really.
Oh,
the Penguin's in here. Kinda.
Well, again, you know, the way they do the Penguin, they present him like he's just another Italian stooge, and there's a lot more to the Penguin's character.
He's just a dude with a gross scar on his face, who's apparently Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I disagree with that hard. If you're gonna have Colin Farrell, use fucking Colin Farrell.
Well, they did. They just put a...
Just make him Batman. Oh, man, Colin Farrell would be a bitch in Batman.
Could you imagine if they had him as, like, you know... Okay, Ben Affleck doesn't want to do it. Fine, bring in Colin Farrell. You know,
Jason Statham, Batman.
No.
No. I think Colin Farrell would be a good Batman. We're getting off track, but I think that is a...
As an actor, I definitely believe he would be able to...
He's handsome enough.
Well, and he would be
if we bring back
the emotional...
If we bring back fun into Batman, Colin Farrell would be perfect. 'Cause he has really good comedic timing.
Oh, yeah, and his deadpan is awesome, which is exactly what you need for Batman.
Uh-huh.
You know, okay, so Colin Farrell, if you're listening, Batman, think about it. You can make the pitch.
We know for a fact that Colin Farrell is listening.
We don't know that for a fact. It's entirely possible somewhere that Colin Farrell is listening right now. God bless you, Colin Farrell. Batman, think about it. Just a thought.
But, man, again, I can't stress enough how little I cared about... And again, Batman is always the least interesting part of a Batman movie.
Which is unfortunate.
But Bruce Wayne was so fucking boring in this movie.
Bruce Wayne literally moped around with his bangs in his hair in front of his face.
Taking off his mask so we could see the black makeup around his eyes.
Did you notice that they made a point of showing scars on his back early in the movie?
Uh-huh.
And then when he's doing his map detective stuff, those scars, if they are there, they're where? I didn't see it.
I didn't catch that. But
So, anyway. So, yes, Robert Pattinson takes his shirt off in this movie. No one cares. And, I didn't work out. Sexual tension you'll get.
I didn't work out for this movie. Bullshit. He was fucking built.
Yeah. Someone sat you down and said, "Okay, motherfucker, like it or not, we're shut down. You work out. You work out, or you're gonna, they probably told him, we're gonna sue you for breach of contract, which means you'll have to give us back like triple of whatever the fuck we paid you, right?
Yeah,
and he was like, okay, I'll get on the goddamn treadmill.
And that's what bothers me so much is I really enjoy Robert Pattinson as an actor. Before we went and saw this, you and I had a long conversation about his acting skills in different films.
Yeah.
He was so not interesting in this film. He really seemed like he didn't give a shit.
Which is a real shame, because it seems like if you are really going to, restructure Batman and his world and the people in it and how they relate and all of that, wouldn't you as the actor want to have some sort of influence in shaping, no, this is how Bruce should be, and this is how I want to do Batman and all of that. I agree. I don't think he gave a fuck other than posing. There was a lot of posing.
There was a lot. That last shot with him looking backwards at the camera. My God.
Like, oh my God. That's the girly dream calendar shot.
And that was the third or fourth ending to this movie, because this movie refuses to just stop.
Once again, why do we have to have multiple bad guys?
Because that's what makes Batman movies interesting. But there weren't multiple. There was barely even a bad guy.
Riddler, Catwoman,
I have
Falcone, and Penguin.
Let's get into Catwoman then for a minute. Because she was not a villain whatsoever. I don't care for that, because Catwoman, the trick to her is that she always skirts that line, because she has a thing always going on with Bruce, and he always kind of goes easy on her.
Right.
But she's still out committing crimes.
Yeah.
In this, they just kind of like flirt with each other, which again, she is maybe 19. Bruce Wayne, you leave her alone, you fucking creep.
Okay, hold on. Because remember, he's in the second year of being Batman, which would put him somewhere around his early 30s, I think it is, right? She is early 20s. And one of the reasons that they sort of had this relationship back and forth is because, and they don't get into it in the movie, really, but the crimes that she does, for the most part, when he stumbles upon her, are like, really kind of petty crimes and things that he's like, okay, well, I could bust you, but...
Yeah, she's essentially kind of like the Omar in The Wire. She seems to always be fighting the big bad at some point because they fucked her over.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for giving the proper context. I was fumbling there trying to find it, but that's it. That's what it is she's kind of not necessarily doing a Robin Hood thing, because she's definitely got her own agenda that she's trying to accomplish. But a lot of times she's going up against the same bad guys that Batman is, which kind of makes an interesting dynamic.
And that's what I really, again... We've seen so much of this dark, gritty Batman, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Because when you introduce realism into Batman, it all falls apart, because the federal government would have gotten involved and said, wait a minute, you built a special light for your vigilante? No.
Yeah.
No. We are shutting this entire thing down. Yeah. Your city is under our control because you have lost it.
Yes,
and when you look at like the Schumacher Batmans, it works because that world is goofy and silly, and that's why, again, it works in like the 66 Batman. Mm-hmm. But
it works with the Tim Burton Batman as well, even though...
Yeah, because they were goofy and silly.
Yeah, he insisted upon creating an environment where this fantasy was allowed to live and breathe. And that's what Batman needs.
Uh-huh.
So this grounded stuff, I liked it because it was not... so insistent on its darkness like Zack Snyder, where everything had to be dark and depressing, and it's leading to dark and depressing because dark and depressing is the world, fuck you, that's just the way it is, right? This at least was like, you know what? Yeah, there's a bunch of dark and depressing shit that's happening. You know what? Yeah, I'm responsible for some of this shit, but that's part of the reason why I'm going to keep on fighting, because god dang it, I ain't going to give up hope. Yeah. And that's Batman, right?
Because I'm the rich asshole who feels it's my responsibility to take all this on because I've built myself essentially a mech suit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, once again, circle back to who is Batman? A psychotic, deeply enabled through his wealth and through his singular upbringing from one person who was his parental guide and figure, who encouraged this whole sense of justice through violence and vigilante detective work and all of this stuff, and using people to your own advantage as long as it was in the name of this higher cause of justice, which we see him do with Catwoman. Where he's like, here, put this shit in your eyes. I need to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know
okay.
What I mean? And she's like, what the fuck? And he just makes her do it. It's like, wow.
Are we in agreement that the Batcave looks real fucking stupid in this movie? Make a fancy fucking Batcave, you lazy bastards.
Yes. And again, I don't know why this grounded the movie for me, right? But that narrative right at the front where he says, I've been doing this for about 2 years now. So to me, I keep going, like, I liked seeing that there were actually bats that were disturbed by the car coming in and flying around. So I'm like, okay.
You mean Batman's bitchin' hot rod?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't get the car design. I don't get it.
Because it fucking rules.
Well, I'll tell you what. When they release it in the scale that I collect in, I am going to buy it. I'll have it. Oh, yes. Yes, I will. But, I mean, it's moreover because it'll fit into the larger motif of the collection than it is that I think it's actually a cool Batmobile. I still think the 60s Batmobile is the choice to style and design. But I can appreciate Nolan's sort of battle tank that he had.
The other element that was very much missing from this movie is Batman fucks. Generally speaking, Batman fucks.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is just a recluse dickhead in this movie. We're never... it just really bothers me, his portrayal of this.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, understandably so, because there are many elements to these characters that we either don't see or are simply not built upon. You know, it's like there are opportunities to have these moments, like the relationship between him and Alfred, where you could have had at least 2 or 3 more scenes with the two of them.
Yeah.
You know, just to build on their relationship a little bit more. You know, but no, we got to go back with, is it Falcone or is it Spumoni? I mean, I don't know which fucking one.
And the whole time,
And
Batman's just lumbering around like a big tanky asshole.
Yeah.
He moves like fucking RoboCop.
Well, it's funny because they're really working on trying to make him intimidating, right? So the way that they're doing that is having him, like you say, lumber in, then he just stands and stares at them, and they're all like, oh wait, is that the guy? Oh, I think that's the guy. Oh shit, right?
Yeah, shoot him right in his fucking teeth.
I don't know why, especially when you've got people who are talking about how they've trained to be precision shooters with rifles that have scopes on them. None of them think to shoot for his mouth. Because there are at least 10 or 12 opportunities where they could have just shot him in the mouth and nobody...
That Strobe scene in that, like, tunnel, when he walks up and the dude just shoots him, 1,000 times in the chest plate?
And it goes ping, ding, 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 and it looks really sweet.
Move that fucking automatic rifle about 12 degrees upward, and you're gonna shoot him right in his fucking mouth.
Well, and the other thing that movies never account for is ricochets, stray bullets, shrapnel from the concrete that's being blown apart, all of that shit, which could all hit you and get you, So I will say, though, that I love the way that scene is shot, very much like Equilibrium, where you're in pitch black environment, and you only have the gun flares lighting the action. It's a nice way to do strobe light, still movement, and capture frames of action and things like that. So I know it's cheap, but I still like it,
And here's the thing, though, is like I thought that DC had learned their lesson because
I don't know why.
Because
I don't know why.
they have put out such a long string of everybody saying, "Hey, man, lighten up your content a little bit because you're going off the rails."
Listening.
But they did. They made that fucking Harley Quinn movie, Birds of Prey, which was a goddamn delight.
Didn't see it. Well,
it was good, dude.
I didn't see that one, and I didn't see Suicide Squad, the most recent one. I want to see that one.
Oh, the James Gunn one? It's fun.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've heard. I just haven't seen it. So, unfortunately, I don't have that frame of reference. All I have is fucking Zack Snyder and then this one.
Yeah, it felt like after the whole Justice League debacle that they had went, yep, we made a mistake, and then they course corrected. And like I said, and they are willing to gamble on having, how many different Jokers do they have active right now? How many different...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, we saw a new one in this one.
Yeah, like just
it's like
throwing different shit at the wall. And I think that's cool. It's not all samey like Marvel is.
Okay.
They are offering a weird variety of weird fucking movies.
Well, now, okay, so on that thought, let me circle back to something that I wanted to bring up and get your take on this as well, which was, you remember how after seeing the movie, we were like, okay, in the first 15 minutes, we had Blade Runner, Judge Dredd, Seven, right? And then other ones started to crop up throughout the whole thing. Like I just referenced the Equilibrium bit, right? So to me...
Or the 90... What is it, like Absolute Power or something, where it becomes like a political thriller for a little bit.
Exactly, so...
That's kind of when I got into it. I was like, oh, you're doing a like late 90s political thriller? Hell yeah. Let's get into it, Batman. But then they dragged it out. They dragged it out for so long that I became disinterested. And then when they switched back to more stuff that the Riddler had going on, they took so long in between everything that I kind of forgot and stopped caring about what was happening in other segments of the film. And I think that's something that Zack Snyder did, especially with like Batman v Superman as well, is that by the time he got around to the next thing, I had not like completely forgotten, but went, oh yeah, I forgot that this was happening.
Yeah, like you could have brought Riddler into some of that political intrigue as maybe he's an activist, somewhat of a tangential player.
Well, he was making those fucking videos. Because because apparently the Riddler's a very good video editor, and he would post those videos followed by his weird live stream.
But what did they say that he did as his regular job, right? Didn't they say that they narrowed it down to, oh, this is Ed North or something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't Edward Nygma. I'll tell you that.
And it wasn't that, which it should have been, so okay, alright, fine, so we're not talking about the Riddler we all know and love, we'll just have to accept that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that instead of just making him some guy who, works in some sort of rehab center or whatever it was that he was doing.
Yeah, I forget
you
completely.
could have made him a political activist who actually worked at the Wayne Foundation, worked for these politicians and things like that.
Yeah.
Which would help make sense of why he has this access to all of this information.
And why
get into that.
And that would have made him directly wronged by the Waynes instead of just jealous of the life that they live, which I guess jealousy is a motivating factor in life itself. Yeah, but in my Batman movie, give me a actual fucking story.
Yeah, I mean, the type of jealousy that he's talking about, I don't see how you get to, okay, so I'm going to cause a catastrophic flood by blowing up the seawall. Okay, I mean, really? You're that fucking bent out of shape over this? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't, it doesn't work for me. The dynamic.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah, so, I mean, there were elements of the movie that I thought, okay, of all of the Batman movies, like, with Batman Begins, which is the first Nolan one, okay.
Yeah, never saw it.
At the tail end of it, I'll tell you real quick, at the tail end
Go
of
for it. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck. At the tail end of it.
That movie from, what, 2005? That 17-year-old movie? Don't spoil it for me.
The super bad guy is falling out of the subway car. He's gonna die, right?
Oh, like in Speed?
And the guy says to Batman, well, I know that you're not gonna kill me, right? Says something like that.
Yeah.
And Batman says to him, I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to let you live either. Or some bullshit like that, right? Like, I don't have to save you, right?
I can let you die from my negligence.
Exactly. And then, train car separates, bad guy falls to his death, quote unquote falls to his death, because of course Chris Nolan is just like Star Wars. Nobody's ever really gone. The dude comes back in the third fucking movie. Anyway, so he lets him fall, believing he's gonna die. And the minute I saw that scene, I was like, you don't get it. Batman would fucking throw a batarang and catch that guy because he can. He's not, I mean, this is something that Joker would deliberately throw himself off a bridge knowing that Batman's going to dive off the bridge and catch him.
Yeah.
And save both of them. That's what Batman does.
Yeah, the Joker fucked with Batman constantly.
Exactly. And we don't get this kind of fucking around from the Riddler, which would have been far more interesting than just these sort of hate videos where he's killing these people.
I wonder if they did that in the writing and somebody actually brought up just hey, that's really close to the Joker. And then they just took away one element and called it the Riddler.
Dude, it's like The Force Awakens copying the first Star Wars movie. You know, the template is there.
Sure.
So, we'll have to have that discussion sometime on not a podcast, just another time when we're hanging out.
Just us yelling at each other.
Exactly. But anyway, so that's why I wanted to bring up, we immediately, within 15 minutes, we both sort of had these reactions of, oh shit, it's like this movie, oh, it's like this movie, oh, it's like this, you know. So this movie, in a lot of ways, to me, I think that was one of the reasons that I was able to sort of turn my brain off and just try to enjoy it even more, because I felt immediately like they were working really hard to give us something that we might connect to, so we might like this lumbering pile of shit that they have, you know?
And like I said, it was...
Because it's 3 hours long.
And having not really seen even a lot of the other Batmans, just like kind of knowing the tone since the Nolan ones, like, this just seems like the same fucking thing. Why aren't you doing something new with this? You got Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. He's a fucking weirdo. Mm-hmm. Make it fanciful and fun and weird. You can still make it dark and creepy.
And they could have.
But make it...
that they had the ability.
Make it fucking fun.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes of fun in this movie even. Because this movie's just kind of a goddamn drag.
I can't think of a moment that I thought, oh, you know what, that was actually pretty funny. Was that a joke? I mean, was there a moment in that movie?
Nope.
Because I
laughed a lot.
Zack Snyder, even though they were terrible jokes, he knew to throw a joke in every once in a while, even in his dark, depressing bullshit, you know? This one is just like straight up, you know what?
I know you and I giggled a lot, but I don't remember a lot of jokes.
Well, you know, when the script is feeble and nonsensical, it deserves to be laughed at. You know, and this movie, unfortunately, for as much as I appreciated the interpretation of certain scenes, god damn, 3 hours. I just don't know that it's worth that time investment, you know?
I think, okay, and follow me on this. It's not going to be very hard. I think this is going to be a very bad movie for a lot of angry and aren't quite as smart as they think they are teenage boys.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I think dudes like that are like 15, 16, and like, oh, well, I watch Clockwork Orange and I watch this, are going to see this and think that this is a lot smarter and deeper than it is, and they are going to take the wrong lessons from this film.
Well, hearing you say that, I am curious how many arrests we're going to see with people who have spray painted black over their eyes like Batman has with his mask. You know what I mean? Because you see Robert Pattinson with the black over his eyes.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it's like, I would not be surprised at all if we start to see that as some sort of cultish fashion trend.
Because not that Batman ever doesn't, but this one really glorifies vigilanteism. Batman usually does, but this one it seemed like they went kind of hard on it.
Well, I agree with that in the sense that him being given a free pass, I mean, being shown directly at a crime scene, being given a free pass to be there with police, interacting with evidence.
Couple times, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Because, like, think about it. With the Tim Burton ones, you met on the rooftop. That was the only time.
Yeah, there was the element of secrecy between, was it Commissioner Gordon and Batman?
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, he's a commissioner, actually in charge of shit, not a lieutenant, someone who should have been overruled in that scene where the other guy shows up, and the lieutenant's like, oh, come on, just hear me out. And the guy's like, oh, okay, I'll hear you out.
Oh, you mean the guy with the ridiculous voice?
Yeah, exactly.
What is he doing here?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Man.
And what is this obsession with rats?
The bit characters in this movie sucked.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of times I have problems with bit characters in the Batman movies. I don't know why it's so difficult to, just show a supporting character, just be a supporting character, but sometimes it's like, really, this is your, ugh.
You mean at the beginning of Batman Forever? It's boiling acid!
Well,
my hearing aids!
Well, they all have their own charm, man.
So, alright, I want to talk, okay. I'm sure we're running long, but I want to talk real quick about the climax of this film.
Okay. All right.
Because I did not understand it whatsoever. Again, I might have been dozing off again, but to my knowledge...
It was romantic that Batman and Catwoman had a motorcycle duet ride.
No, okay, not that part. I mean the part
ways.
where Batman's heroic rescue is to just like jump on a thing and cut the line and fall like maybe 20 feet gently into some water.
Well, now he did not fall gently. Okay.
He just got shot with a goddamn double-barrel shotgun and was fine. He fell like 50 feet. That he would have been fine from that impact.
Well, now, okay, he would have been fine because let's not forget he injected himself with that. What did you call it?
Yeah, trucker crank.
Yeah, trucker crank. Because let's not forget that happened before the whole, fall, all of that stuff. Okay.
Yep.
So he gets shot by the double-barrel shotgun. Catwoman saves him, helps him get back up on the walkway, the catwalk.
Uh-huh.
Right? And, but in doing so, she leaves herself open to a bad guy who's like trying to strangle her or whatever.
It's all Falcone, her supposed dad.
Right. Right. And so, well, no, wait a minute. No, because this is the walkway. So,
played expertly by John Turturro.
Well, yeah.
John Turturro is great.
But we're mixing up the two saves. because
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, okay, but so
And this is a 3-hour movie.
It does matter because this is the moment where he injects himself with a trucker crank, beats the shit out of that guy, and as we all know as an audience, he actually killed that guy, although in the context of the movie, he's Batman. He doesn't kill. He just punched him several times
He just punched him into another dimension. He's fine there.
Oh, and by the way, when they pull the mask off the guy, that guy is the guy who is saying the shit to Bruce Wayne in the church when he shows up at the funeral, and that guy's like, oh, these people dying, rich people, whatever. And then he looks up and he's like, hey, you look familiar. And then it's, oh, Bruce Wayne! And whatever her name, who is running for mayor at that time, comes up to him.
Who gets shot right in the fucking chest.
Right, and somehow lives and is just like, no, I'm fine, but still refuses to take Batman's hand when he's trying to save her fucking life. I didn't get that. It's like, you're dying, you're in water. He's just pulled this fucking girder off so you can all get out. He's holding his hand, and you don't want to take it. Your fucking assistant takes the hand first, and even then you're reluctantly like, oh, well, I don't want Batman to save my life. Why the fuck don't you get your ass out of the water? What the fuck, man? I didn't get that at all.
That's why I was just so confused, because I know I leaned over you and was like, what's the big deal? Is Batman not supposed to get wet?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Is he like a cat trying to get a cat into a bathtub? Like, does he just freak out if he gets wet? Like, what's the big deal? Because after he falls off of the into the water, yeah, he just casually gets up and saves everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no climax.
Okay, but so this gets us back to
he just falls like an asshole.
All right. Well, now So, Chris,
stupid as hell.
I think you're refusing to recognize that in the
you
moment
fucking
of the scene,
condescend to me, you son of a bitch.
That in the moment of the scene, what has happened? What's happened is Riddler's trigger-happy army of, shut-ins and obvious
incels. Yeah, incels.
Yes. Obvious hate mongers living in their mom's basement who've taught themselves how to shoot with high-powered rifles. Supposedly 500 of them show up. We see 30 of them. And they've all lined one area where you would think at a political rally where there's supposed to be security you can't
through the roof.
And somehow there's a whole army of dudes up in the girders and nobody noticed. So Batman comes
until
in
it's
from the
too
top.
late. Oh yeah, Batman comes crashing in.
Yeah, so instead of warning security or doing anything like that, he actually crashes from the top, and somehow, I don't know what the fuck he does, but he secures each of these guys with a line so he can hit them and toss them over a rail and they just dangle.
One of my favorite parts of Batman and his gadgets, and his gadgets sucked in this movie.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Batman engages these guys, and as the girders are getting destroyed and falling on the civilians below, the water comes in from the broken down seawall and starts to drown people, and people start getting trapped in all of this.
So it's Daylight with Sylvester Stallone.
Kind of, only the girder that's dangling...
We should watch that movie.
Fuck yeah, let's watch that, dude. I saw that in the theater, dude. I could gladly watch that again. So, it's been enough time.
But yeah, I get it. The girders fall.
So, yes, not only do the girders fall, but that's where all of the electricity and stuff is. So, what Batman recognizes is that the generator that's causing all of this electricity is connected to this other platform through this long cable.
Yeah.
And if that platform hits the water, everybody who's
dead.
Trapped in the water all dies. So Batman, hero as fuck that he is, jumps onto this electrical cable and cuts it, thereby preventing this platform from electrocuting the people down below.
Yeah.
It's an amazing act of self-sacrifice because even though he falls into the water unharmed, He still had the balls and audacity to make the jump to this electrical cable and sacrifice his own well-being for these people after beating the snot out of all of these other incels with their rifles that they don't know how to shoot. So
the climax of the movie is he just
was a
falls.
breathless act of heroism.
It's just him falling like an asshole.
And after all of that effort, all of that recovery, cutting away this girder, that bitch who just won mayor is like, no, I don't want you to save my life. I don't know if I should take your hand. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of there. You were just shot and you don't want him to help you get out?
Yeah, she would just have a sucking chest wound at that point.
Exactly. And I remind you, no blood on her. No blood whatsoever. Although she's holding her chest and, you know.
They had her just like propped up against a wall like she had twisted her ankle or something.
Yeah, exactly. And they were, in the audio, I don't know if you caught that, they had sounds like they were shooting at her while Gordon is dragging her from the stage. So you're telling me you got all those fucking guys taking pot shots like fish in a barrel, and after that first shot where they got her, nobody could hit either one of them. I mean, dude, you talk about dumb shit in a movie. I mean, this is the kind of stuff.
Damn.
Yeah,
and
this is the kind of stuff where you're like, okay, come on, man. You know.
And once again, cycling back to your conclusion, didn't involve the bad guy directly.
Yeah.
Have him fight the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
God damn it.
Like the whole bit where they caught him, it was like, it really was anticlimactic. You were just suddenly like, oh, that's the guy. Oh, boom, clap, and then he's off to Arkham. And you're like...
Yeah, he was just sitting at a restaurant.
Yeah. And they hold his... I mean, dude, they hold his head down on the diner table, and he's just making faces at the camera. Ooh! Ah!
Yeah, as Batman walks, like, pushes his way through the crowd up to the window in the cafe where he's arrested, and he smiles at Batman.
Yeah, which, again, is weird, because, Batman, you're at the crime scene, why don't you just walk in like you do every other fucking crime scene?
Why are you being so restrained? Like, no, I'll let them do their jobs, I'll wait outside.
Yeah,
I'll wait out here respectfully while you gentlemen handle your business. Get the fuck out of here. He just blew up Alfred's face. He would have beat the living Christ out of him.
Exactly. I mean, these are the areas in the script where you're just like, you know, it takes you out of it because you're like, okay, you know.
And I don't want to hear a one bullshit take about, well, they tried to do something different. Is it so bad to try and do something different? In your Batman movie, yes.
Well, I guess...
Have him fight the bad guy.
Well, I guess what I was trying to stumble through with that whole last statement and with everything that we're talking about is I think we're kind of okay with, in general, okay, we've got these bad guys and there's Batman fighting these bad guys and that sort of stuff. But give us more character. Give us more story about who is fucking Bruce. Why is Batman making some of these decisions that he's making? What the fuck is the relationship with Alfred and Bruce? I would have loved to have seen some more of that. You know, can we have, like, okay, Selina and Bruce, for me, because of things that I read in comic books, and I know that's such a shit thing to keep bringing up, but because of that frame of reference, I thought in the movie I could understand why they made some of the decisions portraying the relationship the way they did. Even so, what we see in the movie is not enough.
No,
for
it's
that
not.
Relationship to make any sort of sense.
No, none of the relationships between any of the characters are satisfactory in the least bit. Especially between Gordon and Batman, because Gordon plays an integral part of letting Batman into, I guess, the quote-unquote, into the system.
Yeah. How does he trust Batman so fucking much? I don't really get that at that point. I mean, you're a fucking lieutenant detective.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, let Batman hold it. He's got gloves on.
And he's been doing nothing but raining destruction upon your town. in the name of fighting bad guys, every other cop in the world was right to question why Batman was allowed in this scene. And I think we are also allowed to question why was Batman allowed into the crime scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so, okay. I think we're kind of starting to loop around onto familiar territory. So, we sum it up. Did you actually like it? Would you recommend it to other people?
No. I'm never watching this movie again.
I'm seeing it next weekend.
I really sincerely hated it that much.
Really?
Because,
wow. Okay.
I mean, and we haven't even talked about any of the technical aspects. I didn't think it was shot very well. There was a couple cool shots, but in a 3-hour movie, you could have wowed me. I mean, with all the money you had available.
Yeah. Yeah, fundamentally, that's my biggest issue, is this movie was far longer than it needed to be. And much like Joker, relied on superficial imagery and, meager lines of text or dialogue to sort of present, and the audience is just supposed to fill in the blanks and just shut up and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I know I've talked about, watching newer films, and in between cuts it's usually, 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, well, making your cuts 30, 45 seconds long, but where nothing happens, doesn't make it artistic. It makes it fucking boring.
Yeah, exactly. I really wish Hollywood, I don't care the filmmaker, I really wish they would get over the idea that looking at a dark tunnel and hearing somebody stepping forward through a dark tunnel with echoing footsteps and weight and whatever the fuck, that's a suspenseful shot. No, it's tired. It's as tired as the fucking headbutt in fight choreography. You know what I mean? It is so, it's a waste of time, And again, Batman, stealth. Where's his stealth? We don't see him using his stealth. Where's his trickery? He does use...
He wasn't even really a good detective.
No, There was a lot of
stuff.
There
was that whole beginning scene where he just wanders around that apartment doing fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we need Batman here. For what? He's not fucking doing anything. He's lumbering around, just looking around this apartment, not doing anything. He says 30 words in this whole movie, and they're all stupid.
Yeah. It's like they imply that he does his detective work after he's walked through the scene because he's got the video and all of that, which is all fine and good. But, again, where are the leaps of logic and the deduction? We actually see Alfred doing that for him with deciphering the
but Alfred did it wrong. Bruce has got the real answer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What if it actually was the actual key? Which, of course, is...
Yeah.
I mean, when Alfred was like, well, obviously it's only a partial key, I was like, why would you jump to that conclusion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That alone didn't make sense. So, it's just stuff like that where it's like, okay, clearly this is a contrivance to try to, position characters in different ways. But here's an idea. Instead of so many slow-mos of reaching for a birthday card that says, to the Batman, maybe, cut some of those down so that you can spend 30 seconds or a minute with Alfred and Bruce and talking about, seriously, where is your head? What's going on?
Yep. And we're all way over the Saw movies. You don't have to show me elaborate torture setups.
Riddler using rats. When the fuck was that ever?
Doesn't he usually have a white rat? I thought the Riddler had a white rat that he had with him.
He may have had some little buddy like that, but I don't recall him doing
I don't think Jim Carrey has one in the
full-on Ben thing. You remember Ben?
Yeah, oh Jesus.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this felt like is, Game of Thrones head traps with rats and shit like that. It's like, well, why are we having this torture stuff? I don't get it. It's not a Riddler thing, I thought.
I think this is one of those movies that's going to trick a lot of dumb people into thinking it's real good.
Yeah.
Because it presents as smart.
Well, okay. We had...
don't do that. That'll catch fire.
I didn't see it, but, Suicide Squad, right, comes out after Zack Snyder's thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then it's Suicide Squad, then it's this. So I really think that this may have a similar reaction to what Joker had, where fans are like, okay, at least this isn't that Snyder shit. We don't even have to debate about Whedon versus Snyder or any of that stuff. This is a whole new thing that we can start arguing about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from there, there might be an opportunity for something in the future, you know, but they're still wrapped up in this whole darkness thing. And on one hand, I kind of appreciate that they didn't spend a lot of time, you know, moping on origin stories. But on the other hand, they just can't give up the idea that, you know, Bruce's torment from his parents is going to be the focus of the motivation for this whole fucking thing. So
Yeah. This movie's bullshit.
yeah, I'm done talking about it, dude.
All right.
I'm just rambling.
All right, what do you got to plug?
Well, things seem to be looking up. I expect in the next month or two I should have about 3 or 4 videos coming out because, of course, I have to put my own little spin on this Rings of Power bullshit, and which is a very simple argument. And then I've got a couple of before movies sucked things that I want to do, and after that I'm going to be revamping the website, so I'll have a new website launch, and some of this HPV stuff will be on there too.
Dope.
Yeah, how about you? What you got?
Yeah, just this.
And then what about...
Stop it.
Okay.
You always make me plug shit, and I don't like it.
Well, you're a creative individual. You deserve...
I guess the only thing is, yeah, we do those Saturday night movies.
Hey, Chris, if I want a t-shirt, where can I get one?
From somebody who has one, because I don't have any.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about a calendar?
You can come get them from me. You can just have one. I don't give a shit.
What's your email, Chris,
Don't
so I can get a calendar?
We're done here, Brad. Say goodbye.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.